one.
All right, Coach Lake here, and today we are talking about heredity and genetics. All right, sometimes children look very much like their parents, and sometimes they don't. This is a result of heredity, the passage of characteristics from parents to their children. So what is genetics? Genetics is the science that studies heredity. Genetics, the process of heredity, begins in tiny structures called chromosomes. Chromosomes are found in the center of each cell. Most cells contain 46 chromosomes. The sperm and egg cells, however, each have 23 chromosomes. When a sperm and egg unite, the fertilized cell receives 23 chromosomes from each parent. The fertilized cell then contains a total of 46 chromosomes. As this fertilized egg cell divides, each chromosome in the cell copies itself. The two sets of 46 chromosomes separate. Each new cell then contains 46 chromosomes. This process in the cell continues throughout life. So each chromosome is made up of thousands of genes. Genes contain chemical codes that determine a person's characteristics. Through the genes, special characteristics of each parent are given to the children. Genes influence your hair and skin color, your size and weight, and even the tone of your voice. Genes can also be the cause of inherited diseases. So what determines your gender? Of the 46 chromosomes in a fertilized egg cell, 2 are special. They determine the gender or sex of the baby. In females, these 2 chromosomes look exactly alike and are called X chromosomes. In males, one of the chromosomes is smaller than the other. This is called the Y chromosome. Each egg cell from the woman has an X chromosome. Each sperm cell from the man may have either an X or a Y chromosome. So when the 2 cells join, the chromosome in the sperm determines the sex of the baby. So if the egg and the sperm are both X combinations, you get a girl. If you have the X from the female and then a Y from the sperm, you get a boy. So how are traits determined? The chromosomes from each parent determine the characteristic or traits of a child. All the chromosomes from the mother line up with the chromosomes from the father. The genes for each trait are next to each other in pairs. Each gene pair controls a trait. So, for example, if you have received a gene for curly hair from your mother, you may have received a gene for a small nose from your father. So there's gene pairs. You get a dominant recessive gene from your mom or dad. So I'll explain that next. In most pairs of genes, one is dominant or has control. That gene determines which trait a child will inherit. The other gene is called recessive, or it's hidden. That gene does not determine the trait. For example, a girl received a gene for brown eyes from her father. She also received a gene for blue eyes from her mother. The gene for brown eyes is dominant, so she has brown eyes. The gene for blue eyes is recessive, and that is not demonstrated or shown. Another example of a dominant gene is hair color. The gene of dark hair is dominant. The gene for blonde hair is recessive. You would have to inherit a gene for blonde hair from both parents to have blonde hair. Okay, now, the Y chromosome, like I said earlier, is shorter than the X chromosome. The Y chromosome does not have as many genes. Sometimes this can result in health problems for the male. With fewer genes, the male may not have a dominant gene to link with the X chromosome. That way, a male could receive a gene for an inherited disease that could be a recessive gene. Without the dominant gene to link it, that trait then appears in the male. The gene and the trait it produces is called sex-linked because the sex chromosome carries the gene. And one example of a sex-linked trait is red-green color blindness. With color blindness, a person cannot tell the difference between these 2 colors. Color blindness rarely affects women. All right. Is genetics important to health? Genes cause many health traits that tend to run in families. That is why doctors often ask about family health histories. Problems or diseases that are passed from parents to children are called genetic disorders. What is genetic counseling? Sometimes parents in a family with a family history of genetic disorders wonder about passing the problem down to their children. These parents may ask for help from a genetic counselor. This person can perform tests and advise parents about the chances of passing on an inherited disease or disorder. In some cases, if the risk is great, the couple may choose not to have children. They may decide to adopt children instead. All right, so that ends our lesson on hereditary and genetics. As always, take the quiz. Coach Lake, peace out.